Hey guys, Jeeps here, and welcome back to Tribes Ascend. So today we are going to do something we have not done in a long while. That's right, we are going to do another in-depth class look, this time on the Juggernaut, which I'm sure some of you have seen coming from a long time ago, given I have done a lot of videos on Juggernauts, what with a whole little Let's Play series of trying to unlock the LMG to just, you've seen me play them a lot in the background of other videos. I love this class. It's probably the class I understand best after Doombringer. So I figured let's give it a go, shall we? So, fair warning, if you already play the Juggernaut and feel pretty accomplished, you're not going to find anything new for you here, most likely. This mostly will cover the basics for either new players or someone who just has not played the class a lot. And I feel this is very valuable, especially for new players, as Juggernaut is one of these three starting classes along with Pathfinder and Soldier. And honestly, maybe the most powerful of the three, barring you're not planning on capping. They're almost as versatile as the Soldier when it really comes down to it, if you take all of their options into consideration. They're significantly powerful at long range. They are arguably the most powerful class at long range. Maybe Sentinel, you could argue, is up there, but other than that, what the hell else do they have to compete with? And all their weapon options let them be quite scary at short range and indoors. So very versatile, very powerful, albeit very slow, because they're a heavy, class. So let's take a look at what they get. So first of all, what is the role of the Juggernaut? As you can see here, this kind of sums it up. They're really good at long-range bombardment. Their primary weapons are all ranged bombardment weapons, which they have the two versions of the fusion mortar. The difference here being you have a higher damage and a smaller radius on the Deluxe, but a faster projectile speed, which effectively also means, I believe, a slightly longer range. My preference is the Deluxe over the Fusion Mortar, but as we said in all the Accelerate updates, those are largely personal preference choices. Their secondary option is the MIRV Launcher. Well, their secondary primary option. Sorry, bad choice of words. The MIRV Launcher is what you might think it is if you've ever heard the term MIRV before. It is a blast that splits into smaller blasts, therefore covering a much larger area. All told, the smaller blasts, the sum of the damage from the smaller blasts, is higher than either fusion mortar, but the individual blasts are lower, so no weapon does quite as much damage as the fusion mortars in one shot, barring maybe the Devastator Spin Fuser on a direct hit, maybe. But altogether, the MIRV Launcher outdamages both of them, but you probably won't be hitting with all of them. Now, the strength of the MIRV Launcher is the larger blast radius you get from having the several projectiles hitting a stand. This lets you clear off flag stands from a distance so well. It is probably the greatest strength of this. Now, what these weapons are also quite good as is indoors, you can't really get away from them very well. However, because there is a delay on the explosion unless they are traveling over a certain distance, up close, especially outdoors, they're very clumsy and very cumbersome. You're not likely to do a whole lot trying to duel someone with these. It pretty much is going to require them to make a mistake, or you have better be really good. I'm certainly not. However, that by no means means this is a weak dueling class. Arguably, Juggernaut is one of the strongest dueling classes in the game, and this comes from their secondary weapon options, with a little bit from their belt. So let's look at their secondary options. Now, they have two major options, and of course, a variation of their primary one. They have the Spin Fuser MKD, which is a lower damage, higher radius Spin Fuser. It is pretty much the Soldier Spin Fuser in every way, with slightly lower damage, slightly higher radius. Quite nice. Again, very nice indoors, just because of the bigger radius. But where they're really useful is with the LMG. This gives them an incredible automatic weapon. It has high damage, a high rate of fire, a huge ammo capacity, and just gives them an incredible medium-range dueling option. You can't escape this thing very well. Now, the MKX, the variation on the MKD, is also pretty interesting for the fact that, despite the fact that it's a secondary weapon, this is, in effect, the Soldier Spin Fuser with higher damage. Not a lot higher. Only 14, I believe, on a direct hit. But still, getting the Soldier Spin Fuser effectively as a secondary weapon is pretty nice. It's a nice dueling thing, and of course, it gives you a Spin Fuser. This means disc jumps, and which means the Juggernaut can be pretty mobile. It has a lot of health, and it can disc jump. For a heavy, that means it can get going pretty well. It's pretty nice, So, with these weapons, competent dueling class, but where they really shine, especially if you use the LMG, is if you combine their belt items with it. Now, their belt items, they have the heavy AP grenade. This is pretty much the same as the soldier's AP grenade. Does a lot of damage to organics, so other players. Not very much damage to base assets or vehicles, stuff like that. Likewise, the heavy AP grenade XL, same deal, but bigger blast radius, lower damage. But again, it's your standard grenade. You know what you're getting out of this. Where the Juggernaut really shines, and this is what makes it so good at dueling, again, especially if you're using the LMG, is the spin fuser disc. This is exactly what you think it is. This is a spin fuser. This is the soldier's spin fuser, but as a grenade. So, with safety third, this gives you a 4-shot spin fuser, just as a backup. Yeah, you don't get a standard grenade, but this means you can have the mortar, or MIRV, a really powerful automatic weapon, and a, albeit with limited ammo, spin fuser weapon. The versatility there is insane, especially on a heavy class where, like I said before, all that health means you can disc jump pretty effectively because you don't really need to worry about the damage. You don't need to worry about taking egocentric to make it not suicidal. And in a pinch, you can just quickly go between your LMG and thrown spin fuser discs. Now, personally, if you're really crazy like me, and shout out to one of my viewers who coined this term, if you take the spin fuser disc with one of the spin fuser weapons, again, personally, I would take the MKX, you just get to be a Pez dispenser of death. You can just, the fact that you can just quickly back-to-back shoot 2 spin fuser discs off, very, very frightening. Very fun trick, too. A lot of times people don't seem to see that coming. So yeah, with all these weapon options, the Juggernaut is incredibly versatile. Now, let's move on to see what else it gets. Now, it only has 1 pack option, so you get no option here, but this is, again, what makes this class so good. You have faster health regeneration than any other class in the game. That's insane. That's so good. Again, especially on a heavy, the fact that you start regenerating health quicker, and you have so much health to begin with, the Brute is still more durable than you are, but not by a lot. Just the Brute can have more health and can get a shield pack, of course, but you can just regen quicker. You don't have to get away from someone in duel very long to come back and start hitting them again from full health before their regen is kicked in. That's huge for dueling. That is huge. If you can just get away, you can come back before they've healed if they're chasing you. So many people forget that Juggernauts regen quicker than they do. I have had so many instances where someone chases after me, I round a hill, my regen kicks in, they round the hill, theirs hasn't kicked in yet, and they eat a spin fuser shell to the face. It's wonderful. Now, other than that, don't have a whole lot more to look at. The armor, it's what you'd think it is. You got all your standard upgrades here. And then perks. Perks, you're going to come down to, as always, a bit of personal preference, but I can give you a rundown of what I tend to prefer. I'm a huge, huge fan of taking safety third as my primary, mostly because I almost always run with spin fuser discs, and I just really like the extra spin fuser disc and the bigger blast radius. It just makes them that much more effective. Now, I could definitely see an argument for running with something like Bounty Hunter, as you are a very offensive class. Getting extra credits just means more call-ins, more vehicles if you really want the vehicles, and that's always a good thing. You're probably going to be getting quite a number of kills as a Juggernaut, because you have very, very high damage weapons. So, Bounty Hunter, definitely a good option. Looter also can be quite good just to get more ammo, and you can get your grenades back quicker. Other than that, I don't really know what you'd want to go with. Ultra Capacitors are always fun if you just really want the more energy, however, you don't really need it. Rage and Reach, I can't really see a good argument for. Wheel Deal, generally if you're running this, you probably want to be playing as a Technician, so I wouldn't worry about most of the other ones. But again, personal preference really prevails here. Secondary perks, I feel there are a couple very good options here as well. Now, Quick Draw is what I've been running with currently. This is going to be very, very nice for 2 reasons. One, being able to switch weapons near instantaneously is great. Being able to go, if you're shooting at your mortar, being able to quickly switch to the LMG in case someone comes after you up close, or the spin fuser, or whichever, that's great. It just means you're that less vulnerable early on. Especially since the mortar and the MIRV, just not very good up close. But where they really shine, again, is if you're using spin fuser discs. The 20% grenade throw speed means you get those disc shots off quicker. something that's then more comparable to an actual spin fuser, as opposed to the thrown grenade delay. So quick draw, incredible perk. However, it does run up against a couple of other amazing ones. First of all, Survivalist. Survivalist, I feel, is always good on offensive classes. If you're up close to people and killing them, you can always benefit from this. Getting your energy and getting healed, biggest of all, is great. It's just so nice. So nice. But that is not all. On the topic of energy, potential energy is also a very good option. With the amount of health a heavy has, potential energy makes you incredible at dueling. Because if you're dueling someone with an explosive weapon, if they get like just a near hit on you and don't do a whole lot of damage, all they're really doing is charging your jetpack up. They're letting you get more air over them. Direct hits, okay, that's a lot of damage you're taking for that. But someone just grazes you with a spin fuser, suddenly you're flying above them as a heavy, raining down death. What the hell are they gonna do? So yeah, potential energy, great. Overall, I have a tough time going between these three. They are all very good options. I'm running quick draw at the moment, but again, all very, very good options. Lastly, nothing really else to look at. They don't have any special skins yet for the Juggernaut, but we might as well take a look at their two. This is, of course, the Diamond Sword skin, which is not the thing I should be clicking to switch skins. Sorry, I'm done. This is the Diamond Sword skin, and then the Blood Eagle skin is this. Again, nothing too special there. I would not say the Juggernaut has the coolest of the heavy skins. For Diamond Sword, I would definitely give that to the Brute. And for Blood Eagle, maybe the Doombringer, actually. I really like the big kind of eagle thing above its head. But that is a nice quick look at what the Juggernaut gets. So now let's head into a game, and let's see if we can get a rundown on how you should be using them and what you should be doing. Alright, my friends, I will see you in there momentarily. Now, just as a quick detour before we actually get into a real game, there's one thing that is worth learning on the Juggernaut. Definitely worth learning, and this is something you can only really teach yourself. It's worth going around maps, because it's always worth practicing on roam map from time to time, just to get a feel for what to do things. With Juggernaut, it's really worth finding landmarks near the enemy base where you can very, very quickly know which notch to go to on your crosshair to get direct hits, for example, and you're not going to be able to see it get destroyed because I already blew it up. For the Fusion War Deluxe, right from this tree, from that notch, we'll get a direct hit on the radar. And I believe this notch will do a direct hit on this hurt. I would believe wrong. Let's try this one. We're gonna get this eventually. But you get the idea. Sorry, that was my incompetence showing there. It was the fourth one up, not the fifth one. For some reason on a roam map, it doesn't like to show me the radar icons. I don't know why. It's a lot easier when you have the radar icons to plan this by. But you get the idea. Practicing with a specific landmark, for example, I'm using this tree, you can very, very quickly figure out where to hit where you want without really having to take much time. Also, doing this will just get you a good feel for the general arc and speed of your weapon, and you'll be able to just kind of estimate it at a glance much, much quicker. Very important trick when you have these long-range bombardment weapons, because obviously I can't just point my crosshair directly at something like that and hit it, because it arcs. Now, these are going to be different for all three of the weapons, and everyone's going to have their own favorite places to go. And obviously every map is different. So don't use mine as gospel. They work for me, they won't work for everyone. Plus I missed that one anyway. Alright, now we will go play a real game. Now we're going to use this game on Sunstar to illustrate a bit of what the Juggernaut can do. Now, as you saw right there, not only are they good at long range, you can also do some kind of fun tricks with bouncing the projectile. Now, Sunstar's a good example for this because, well, you can get a good idea of how you can bombard a normal flag stand. Sunstar doesn't have a normal flag stand, though. And when the shield's up, yeah, it means you can't bombard it from long range, but you can use it to trap people. Also, while I miss a few times here, you can also see that Mortar, pretty good at taking down base assets. And then if you have the MKX, you can just use that to finish them off, because it's not too shabby in terms of anti-base asset damage. Now, soon, we're going to have a bunch of people come and try and murder me, and, well, they're ultimately successful. This also illustrates how scary the Juggernaut can actually be at range. Again, this is all with the MKX, obviously, and the discs, but look at this. Guy backs off, but still, he doesn't have a chance to get away. I don't really know why I waste MKX ammo on his turret, because I could have just done that. Now, this is when things go bad. Dueling a Doombringer at nigh point-blank range as almost anything is suicide, especially if you're heavy, because you're such a big target. A Brute could probably do it, especially if it had a shield pack, but Juggernaut? No way. I am not good enough to survive this fight. So I get the hell out of there, and I miss a chance to maybe kill the guy who has our flag, but at least I kill this guy, even if it means I suicide. Alright, now I just want to demonstrate some of that indoor effect of this I talked about. So now we're on Tartarus, which already has kind of a notorious gen room in terms of kind of being a big target. Well, let's see what happens when I decide to wreck everything in it. Now, first of all, this is not what you expect to see, ever. A grav cycle. Let alone a grav cycle in a building. Nah, I'm just kidding. Grav cycles are useful. But, you don't usually see them in a building, but, maybe with good reasons, because they're Juggernaut bait. So, just watch as things fall apart. Yeah, I've got a little bit of help. But we kill that Brute, the gen's down, and now's when things get interesting. Now, as you've probably noticed, I just ran out of ammo. I didn't actually know that right away. So that's unfortunate. Or, well, this is my last shot, I guess. Now I'm out of ammo. I was not looking at my counter here. So we got infiltrators, we've got a lot of stuff coming to kill the couple of us who just took down their generator. So, and I really need ammo, so bam! Well, that's one. Also showing you the power of the MKX up close. Now what's next? This Raider's holding out okay, but now we got ammo again, so let's just launch some mortar fire down there. Oh look, it's the Doombringer. There goes the Doombringer. He's dead now. There goes that guy. He's dead now. There's a Brute back in there somewhere, I think. Guess what? He's about to be dead now. Well, that guy is about to be dead now. You're dead now. Everyone's dead now. Double kill. And then I have no health left. But still, effectively, one person did most of that damage, pulling them away. Yeah, I had a couple health, but when they died, they didn't come back. Obviously, they were far away, but still, Juggernaut, scary as hell indoors if you've got them kitted out with explosives. Now, arguably, AP grenades are more useful than the thrown discs in that case, but Pez Dispenser of Death, man. It's so much fun. Well, that's about it for our look at the Juggernaut. Hopefully, it gave you, in the beginning, a lowdown of what you have, when it might be useful, and now you can kind of see one in practice. Again, I'm not going to claim to be an expert at this game, at this class, at anything. But, if you're just starting out, some of these tips may prove useful. In fact, here's one last tip. Don't go head-to-head with a Beowulf. Alright, guys. Like, subscribe, leave a comment if you liked anything to discuss. If you would like to check us out on Facebook, we are facebook.com/atnagaming. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, I am twitter.com/player_2. That is TWO, so @player_2, as in the word. That's it for now. As always, I've been Jeeps. Talk to you guys later.